kind of from a good news standpoint, we are starting to see a broadening of the breadth of the markets, so that's good. But this is that rotation that we've been talking about here. So we've been saying, hey, take profits here, look to rebalance, do those type of things. This is where it pays off, is where you start to see that rotation kick into place. You're starting to see money kind of gravitate to other areas of the market that haven't participated. But let's talk about what you need to know before the bell today. Yesterday, markets hit an all-time high again. And so it's very surprising. Yahoo Finance is like, markets hit an all-time high. Yeah, because they were already at an all-time high. So if the market goes up at all, you're going to have another all-time high. So, yes, markets were up yesterday. We hit an all-time high, which is fine. Again, we've kind of been talking about this kind of trend in the markets here over the last several days. It's just been a very, very well-defined uptrend at this point. The kind of the bottom of this trend and the top of this trend channel are just very narrow. We're at the top of the trend channel right now. But again, yes, we're breaking out to new all-time highs. Very bullish right now. Everybody's very optimistic. We're triggering a MACD buy signal on a momentum basis, but that signal's fairly elevated. So even though you're getting a buy signal here, upside is likely somewhat limited. Doesn't mean it has to be, but generally when you're kind of in an overbought territory in a couple of different fronts. Again, we're back into relative strength being overbought as well. That kind of limits the upside. Doesn't mean that markets won't keep kind of grinding themselves higher, but it's going to be a bit more of a struggle for the market to go up. But again, we've just had this very kind of unique, you don't see this very often in the markets, where it's this very defined channel kind of going up in the markets. And yeah, it does occur, but this has been, it's kind of been very kind of fascinating to watch is how the markets have been acting, because it's been up one day, down one day, up one day, down one day, and markets open up, then they sell off, then they come back a little bit at the end of the day. That's not a really great sign of internal strength, because you've got kind of this mismatch of buyers and sellers that are going on, and they're just really struggling at current price levels. So that's been one of the breadth issues that we've talked about recently. Breadth has been fairly weak. We just talked about this the other day in our daily market commentary as well. That gap between the S&P 500 equal weight and the S&P 500 itself is getting pretty large. Equal weight has not broken out to an all-time high yet. It had now. The last couple of days, we've actually seen a bit more breadth in the markets finally. We did see RSP kind of catch up here as of late. Over the last 2 days, there's been a bit broader rally. Yesterday, kind of as a good example, tech was weak. What we've been talking about lately is that look for that rotation in the markets from tech, which has been kind of on fire, to stuff that's not been favored very much. Eli Lilly is a good example in healthcare. Had a very, very good day yesterday while Microsoft and others were down. So you kind of saw, we've talked about that money rotation in the market and how that occurs. Well, that kind of rotation is showing up in the equal weighted index. Again, but there's a big gap. If I overlay these two charts, you're going to see this big gap between performance. But equal weighted index is finally starting to make a little bit of a move here. And what that does suggest is that we're starting to see, again, just kind of in this big consolidation range, but we are starting to see some rotation within the market. Some of those leaders kind of giving up, back up some of their gains. GE Vernova, others yesterday were down. Some of the more kind of boring stocks were up yesterday. So kind of from a good news standpoint, we are starting to see a broadening of the breadth of the markets. So that's good. But this is that rotation that we've been talking about here. So we've been saying, hey, take profits here, look to rebalance, do those type of things. This is where it pays off, is where you start to see that rotation kick into place. You're starting to see money kind of gravitate to other areas of the market that haven't participated. And that makes sense, because as a money manager, right, it's like I've made a lot of money in this area, but where's my next opportunity? Here's some stuff that's fundamentally very strong. Nobody wants it right now. Maybe I'll go put some money over there, at least for now, and see if I can pick up a trade on that. That's all that's happening in the markets, but we are starting to see that kind of rotation. So that's what you need to know before the bell this morning.